everybody, welcome back. We're in the final stretch of finishing the Gateau St. Honore. At this point we're going to make a cream chantilly, and that involves heavy cream, a little bit of sugar, and some clear vanilla extract. Before we use the heavy cream, you want to make sure that you shake it up so that you disperse the fat. So I'll use about half a quart of this heavy cream. Do not use whipping cream. It's not the same. Add my sugar, which is about 1.5 ounces, and a few drops of the clear vanilla extract. Make sure it's clear, otherwise the chantilly will have a beige color. About a half teaspoon of the vanilla. Make sure this is dispersed. So all that's left is that I put this on the machine and whip it to a medium thickness, at which point we'll come back and finish decorating the Gateau St. Honore. As you can see, the chantilly is ready, has nice ribbons in it. So we're going to decorate the Gateau St. Honore, so I'll mix the chantilly a little bit, put it in my pastry bag. So I'll be using a star tube, which you can see here, but we also have a Gateau St. Honore tube, which you can see has a cut in the top, which will give me a fluted design, so we could use that also. But for today we'll use the star tube. So here we go. I'm going to pipe a border around the Gateau St. Honore first. Just a simple border, making sure I cover the hazelnut pastry cream. And now you can see why I fill this from the inside edge of the pot of choux. So at this point, whichever way you want to decorate is up to you. You can continue this pattern, or you can continue a pattern somewhat like this, just making stripes down the center of the Gateau St. Honore, making sure you cover all the hazelnut pastry cream. And we can do it in the opposite direction for this side. But as I say, the way that you want to decorate is up to you. So we're heading towards the last step, which would be to make the caramel, dip the profiteroles in the caramel, and then make the spun sugar to place on top, along with some chocolate shavings that I've prepared. So we'll be back in a little bit. So we're towards the caramel stage, and this is hot sugar. So be extremely careful when you're working with hot sugar. Keep cold water near you at all times. Do not rub the sugar off. If you get some on your hands, plunge your hand into cold water. Here we are at the caramel stage, and I'm going to take my hot sugar and plunge it into the cold water to stop the cooking. And be careful, this will get a lot of steam here, so be careful. Now I have to wait till this cools a little bit to the right thickness. And notice that this cold water, keep it by you. This is very, very hot, and it can do a lot of damage to skin. So be very careful when you're doing this. So the cooling will stop the cooking and keep it at this particular stage of caramelization. And the sugar is still hot, even though you've cooled it. So you have to be extremely careful. Waiting for it to cool a little bit. Over here you can see my setup for the spun sugar. I have 2 dowels that I've coated with oil. I've coated my marble with some oil so the caramel won't stick to it. And I have some parchment paper here to catch any excess sugar or excess sugar that might spill over here. So I'm looking for the right consistency here. Has to be about as thick as honey. And it's a little too warm right now. And as you can see, I have my profiteroles, which I'm ready to dip in the caramel. And be very careful with this. It is hot. It is hot when you'll be working with it. So if you think this is a little risky, then guess what? You can dip the profiteroles in ganache. And you don't have to go through the caramelization process. But the important factor to remember is this is very hot. Okay. It's still a little runny, but it's getting to the point where it's cooling to the right temperature. Now this is caramel. This is not caramel sauce. To make this a caramel sauce, I would need to add heavy cream to this. So there's a distinction between caramel and caramel sauce, which may be obvious. Okay, so let's see what happens if I dip one of my profiteroles here. So take a profiterole. You got to be careful here. You don't get your fingers. So just a little bit of a dip. Make the caramel drip off. And then I'm going to put it down on the marble that I've oiled. And I'll just keep doing this. Like so. Make sure you get the excess to drip off. I have about 14 profiteroles right here. And don't dip your fingers in the caramel, just the profiterole. Be very careful. If you do dip your finger in the caramel, then I would advise drop the profiterole and put your hand right in the cold water. Get that excess off. Keep your fingers on the top of the profiterole if you decide you want to try the caramel. You don't have to do the caramel. You could use ganache. Be careful, if you drop it in, don't put your fingers in there. Just grab the spoon, take your profiterole out, drop it somewhere else. Stay on the very, very top. And if we go back to the original profiterole, we can see that it will slide off the vegetable oil. Beautiful. Perfect little profiterole. Alright, so the only thing left now is, you can see we're stringing here, so you want to get these off of the marble and out of the way here. Want some oil so they don't stick. Get these out of the way. Put them aside somewhere. Just put them here. Okay, now we'll take our medieval torture tool right here and try to do some of our spun sugar. And here you can see our spun sugar. Okay, and I think that should be enough. And I'm going to take the sugar. Hopefully it will slide off these pins. And here's my sugar. Whoops, that's okay. And I have a little nest, like so, that I'll use on my Gateau St. Honore. So we're all set here with the cooked sugar, etc., etc. So let's take our profiteroles and see if I can get some of the sugar off here, like so. Worked out nicely. Gateau St. Honore. Profiteroles right here. And let's put our profiteroles around our Gateau St. Honore. Just stick them right in the whipped cream. Now, some people garnish their Gateau St. Honore with fruit. And that's certainly a variable. If you want to use that variation, feel free to use that variation. Okay, we have some extra profiteroles. Put those aside. Now, I've prepared some shaved chocolate this morning. And we'll take our shaved chocolate and sprinkle it on our Gateau St. Honore. And last but not least, we take our little nest of sugar and place it on top of the Gateau St. Honore, and voila! Gateau St. Honore. It was a torturous process, but it was worth it. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks for watching.